don't know what you expected. I don't know what you expected. When you woke up this morning, if you didn't think there was going to be a shirtless Gardner Minshew on the thumbnail, you missed the thesis of this entire program. You have been living with your head under a rock if you did not think we would be leading this show with shirtless Gardner. This is my guy. This is my guy. A mule. He's rocking a mule. A man who tried to break his own hand playing ball. Just a good old-fashioned football guy. Holy shit, 4,800. Put him in every lineup. Let's go. We're drafting him all week. Let's go. This might be an upgrade at quarterback, boys. This might be an upgrade.
Stop it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's what people want you to think. And, just because Gardner Minshew's going to light the Cowboys on fire, let's be clear, he is going to light the Cowboys on fire doesn't necessarily mean he's better. I just want to preempt everybody there because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's a damn certainty at this point.
I've seen the script.
Man.
It's
So good. It's going to be a big talking point for the slate this week because the ADPs of everybody on that Eagles offense basically haven't adjusted. They're basically treating it as if Hurts is still in there. And we've seen Hurts get drafted a little bit. Now he has the doubtful tag. He'll stop being drafted. But it will be a talking point all week, especially as he gets steamed up in the DFS streets because you can build a 3-man stack with him and Goddard coming back and whatever for under 16K. So, I mean, like that doesn't happen every day that you get one of the best offenses in football so far this year. Mark, what's going on, man? You've been been on a bit of a heater. You've been on a heater, my friend.
Yeah, it was nice, man. We were talking before the show. I hit 2 5-leg pick'ems this weekend. So got myself a nice little bankroll for all the playoff contests, dude.
Perfect. That's exactly what we like to hear. We're going to be talking through some of that either Thursday or Friday. So if that's something you want to be a part of, by all means, we can chat a little bit of that because it is a really fun structure. There's a lot that goes into it, right?
I should be good Friday maybe Thursday. These next 2 days are just like intense with all the different slates and shit. I got a bunch of stuff due early this week. So
that aspect of stuff, like the fact that there's a shout out to Underdog for putting the slates exactly like we thought they were going to. I think that was the perfect way to do it. I think it was really sharp. Actually, there's one thing I want to touch on before we jump into the main slate. I want to talk about last night a little bit. Shout out to us for nailing those double running back builds, just porting the cash game build over to the streets. Nesboy's in first place. Hopefully that holds for him. It won't because I'm in fifth and I'm going to catch him with Christian Kirk. But I got him by the balls. But
I think Sauce Gardner is actually going to lock down Zay Jones and Christian Kirk at the same time. And Travis Etienne is gonna fall into a manhole like a cartoon before the game starts, and I'm not gonna have anything to worry about. I'm gonna take home my 7.5, just like I do once a year, and we're good.
I will allow it. I'm about that. I'm about that for you. I will allow it. We'll have a nice Nezzy Christmas there.
I mean, if that's how I make my money is like winning a tournament every 3 months, like I don't know that that's the way I want to do it. Like this has been just such a freaking grind, man.
That's
just
exactly how you want to do it.
I know. Yeah, I know. But geez, I don't have the mental fortitude for it. I need every week I'm in the group chat asking you guys to talk me off the ledge. Like, tell me I'm good. Like, tell me I still got it.
Well, it's true, man. I mean, someone asked it on Twitter last night. I can't remember who the comment came from. And it was like, how do you guys just like, how do you deal with just losing? And it's like, yeah, man, it's a great point because like my mind is just different, right? It's been trained to lose for years and years now, right? It's just like, hey man, I'm going to win like 53% of the time, or I'm going to have a like 10 to 12% ROI on like large field tournaments. I'm just prone to losing. It's what I used to always say is it's the most difficult way to make an easy living because of just what it does to you mentally. And some people just aren't aren't equipped for that. And if you're not equipped for that, you got to recognize that in yourself early and just be like, hey, I have to play this, but in a recreational capacity within the bankroll limitations of which, because you don't want this bleeding into other aspects of your life. This is a fun game. This
exactly.
is a leisure outlet for the majority of people that play it. Now, are we hardos and sickos and we want to get deep in the weeds and talk about all this stuff? Of course. We want to do our best to try and win in these contests, of course. But like, it's just like, it's a very weird mental hurdle for a lot of people to conquer, and a lot of people never conquer it. Like even myself, like, you know, I'll be 10 years into a poker career and I'll go on a month-long downswing and be like, am I even good anymore? Like, can I beat the games anymore? Because it's like, it's just constantly in the back of your mind that you suck, right?
Yeah. The thing is about risk tolerance and variance management is it's a learned trait. It's not something that humans are born knowing how to do. So like if you're feeling that way, or if you're feeling down in the dumps or whatever, like drop down in stakes and do some self-growth and some self-study and figure out, like, I don't know, like it's something that is trained. It's something that you have to like overcome the innate like human mental blocks that are in place for like the survival of our species. It sounds fucking dumb, but that's what it is.
It's true. Like, it's true. It's literally evolutionary traits. Like for real.
Oh, man.
So study, like you can overcome it, but don't overexpose your bankroll doing that.
Good preamble to the show as we're like in playoff best ball season and you know, everything else we got going on. I mean, there's a lot to, you know, to tackle and also a lot to lose on. So it's a good intro for the show, you know, just manage yourself.
Yeah. And it just went completely organic and rogue there because I had no intentions of us talking about that in any regard. But that's the beauty of the old bros, right? I wanted to touch on one thing from last night. I just wanted to pick both your brains, had an overarching thought. I tweeted out something yesterday that out of nowhere, Mike White practiced yesterday, right? And everybody had spent all day drafting Zach Wilson. And there was a note on Underdog that he was likely to start. There was a doubtful tag on Mike White. So he was like not even being drafted, right? And I kind of said, there is this backdoor avenue to this weird scenario where Mike White ends up active and all the Zach Wilson rosters, he's active as well, but does not start, does not play a snap. In a traditional BR, if he was active, did not play a snap, he'd get swapped out to a late game quarterback. I was urging and getting ahead of it. It's not going to matter now because Mike White's been ruled out and Zach Wilson's going to start. But I was urging Underdog to just, hey, in the spirit of these contests, like nobody was trying to get cute and pull the wool over anybody's eyes and draft Mike White. Everyone just definitively thought he was out, right? But that being said, we're 3 days out. I was urging that they would just swap that for everybody. Do you guys agree with that sentiment, or do you think it's a too bad, too sad, so sad moment kind of thing instead?
I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with like what it is. What I think could be cool and interesting is if they said, if you like, rather than saying like it's team quarterback, because we like to draft we like to draft the names, right? Like we like to draft like Tua and Mahomes. Well, instead of doing that, it's like maybe add it into the rules where, okay, if you take Mahomes, then his backup quarterback also is off the board for any other drafter, as if like, you know, because whenever somebody takes a player, he's off the player board. Well, now his backup is off the board as well. And so is his third string. And then you just get subbed that. But then if he gets hurt mid game, it's like, what do you do? But maybe only if it's pre-game swap. You know, I guess that's tough. Maybe that's not like the best idea. But we've kind of talked about having team quarterbacks in like at least a smaller slate specific. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I mean, there's an element of the contest that is, what do you do with the guys with the Q or the D tag? Like the strategery there is like, do I want to accept that variance? And if you remove that, it removes an element of the game, I think.
I agree. Yeah, like I agree with that in a vacuum, and that's how I felt most of the time. And that's how I felt about the Christian McCaffrey situation. That we talked about, weeks back when he got traded. And that's how I felt kind of about the Baker situation. It's like, too bad he's not in the player pool. I don't know. This one just felt different to me because there was a D tag on him. So nobody was drafting him like with the out tag, and the fact that they had a note within their interface that said he's likely to start. I don't know. It just felt different, and it felt like a subjective one, but I do understand entirely that probably for the sanctity of the platform and for just the rigidness of rules and stuff, that it should be a one size fits all. And it's too bad. So sad. Everybody loses if Mike White ended up starting. I was just kind of throwing it out there. I don't know. Just think it out loud, right?
He would have swapped though if Wilson didn't play a snap.
It just would have taken the user to do that, not the platform doing it, right?
No, he wouldn't have. So this is my issue. If he
it's
doesn't
happened
play
in the past.
If he doesn't play a snap,
mm-hmm.
There's no games after him.
Yeah, but they will actually retroactively swap the quarterback that played, and they will give you his score. That's happened before, because I remember we were on a show talking about it on any slate. It happened where somebody had. I forget the scenario.
The Teddy
I think
Bridgewater one. It was the
yes.
Teddy Bridgewater one. Yeah.
Yes,
I remember that, but I thought it was different because there was games in the afternoon. But
maybe, but I thought they literally would swap and you get the points retroactively, which makes sense. But I don't know. I might have to hit up our boy Mamba for that one.
Yeah, just find out a little clarity on that one going forward, because I thought it was a very unique circumstance. That's why I brought it up.
Definitely,
because there was no games behind, because it's a 2-game slate, because it's a Monday, Thursday, there's a 3-day gap, blah, blah, blah. Yo, GMs to everybody in the chat. Lots of familiar faces hanging out. I actually did not notice last night if anybody that we knew, friends of the show, took down any of those contests. I was not really paying as much attention as I should have been, guys. But let's jump into the slate here. Very interesting, because we're seeing trends already where the ADP of DK Metcalf is where I want to start, because we are seeing the KC and Seattle game being thrust up quite heavily. And we're seeing the run back of DK Metcalf being forced, into the second round. Now, there's a lot of factors here. There's no Tyler Lockett. There's that whole game environment. There's the whole narrative of them chasing points on the road, vying for a playoff contention. Birth, that sort of deal. But it's become very apparent that the Kelsey drafter is then, maybe not reaching, but is prioritizing the Metcalf bring back in the second round. And we're getting a lot of builds like that so far, is what I'm noticing. I don't know, just throwing it out there. What do you guys think when you see this initial ADP? What do you think when you see that pairing of those two?
I'd have no problem with ADP right now. This top section here seems pretty good. I think you could probably make a case for Derrick Henry 102, maybe even 101. I mean, it's just one of those things to not overthink. He just absolutely dominates the Texans every time that he plays them. It just wouldn't surprise me if that happens once again. But we're dealing with, once again, have you heard this one before? We're dealing with one of the ugliest slates ever, and we have a ton of games with 41 points, 39 points. The freaking Saints and Browns game is at 32 or something. It's disgusting.
31 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, 31 and a half for the
God,
Saints.
That is horrific. So, we gravitate towards these, if you see a 44-point game, it's oh boy, you better jump on that, which I think is the Lions and Panthers. Oh my. So I really like all that to say, I like Metcalf, and I don't think you have to have the Kelsey run back for him. I think he makes sense. Geno, they trust Geno to throw the ball. They're going to likely have to throw the ball a ton. And I think Metcalf could have just a monster game.
Check this out. the Kansas City Chiefs give up, I think it's top 3 still, at least going into last week. I haven't checked this week. They give up top 3 percentage of pass production to the slot. As in like 36% or whatever of the pass production against the Chiefs comes from the slot. And it's like the worst in the league is like 37%. So they're like right amongst the league worst in slot production. Marquise Goodwin has been playing the slot. He's unlikely to see much change in that role, at least, with Tyler Lockett out. And Goodwin has some spike potential. We've seen it when given the opportunity.
He's an Olympic sprinter. I mean,
the dude runs fast.
Yeah,
so,
dude runs fast.
Yeah. So like, there's like, I'd be interested. What is he being drafted? Is he like a last rounder? Where's he going? That's an interesting.
Virtually undrafted.
Yeah. So like, we talk about like,
which is interesting because he's gonna be DFS chalk.
100
because of his price. Yeah.
Exactly. So like identifying those spots where you can get exposure to top expected environments in ways that the field is not is just like the evergreen way to generate EV, right? It's just like, like last week with like Kansas City pass attack. It was like everyone was only worried about Travis Kelce, and then Jerick McKinnon has a nice game, or the RB1 game. And then Juju puts up 10 receptions for 88, so he's like viable. So yeah, I mean, like finding ways to get exposure to top offenses or top expected game environments in ways the field is not. It's just like it's like EV 101 right there. So
100%.
My highest owned player right now in that regard is Kenneth Walker, just because he's the piece from that game who has a 30-something ADP right now. And I'm like, oh, that's going to come up this week as people dive more and more into that. And he's just been like my 6th round one-off over and over again.
I've been burned by him like week over week, and trying not to buy in too much to his like inefficiencies as a runner, because I do think that he's good, even though his box scores don't necessarily indicate that the last few weeks. Like he hasn't like been that good. So I'm probably gonna have less of him than like I normally would if this game was being played like 2 weeks ago, and I would have been like all over Ken Walker, as would the field. But yeah, that's definitely a piece to target here. This will definitely be a highlight in the article.
There's some. Sorry, go ahead.
If you want to add to that game, I wanted to talk something. I had a macro level question for you, Mark.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, well, I had one thing to say about Kenneth Walker first. He's got
no, you can't.
He's got it. He can't triple step, double step, Lloyd. He has an element of this Saquon Barkley in him to me, where he is 3 yards in a cloud of dust over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden it's 80. You know what I mean? Like it's you're going to get these box scores week over week where he goes like 15 for 30, 11 for whatever, and then all of a sudden he goes 19 for 185. You know what I mean? Like he just feels like that player. I don't know if there's any merit to that. Like just stylistically, that's how I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are susceptible to getting gashed by Ken Walker. You know, I like they always seem to be a bend don't break type defense, but you know, are we going to be surprised if come Saturday it's oh geez, here's Ken Walker like running wild? Like probably not. It's going to be highly concentrated regardless. So I think if you're drafting and you have DK Metcalf and Ken Walker on the same team, I don't think you should feel gross about that. I think it's very viable.
Yeah, I mean, consider the Chiefs' defense. They are a defense that is built to rush the passer. They're a defense that's built to play from a lead. So, like, we've seen, like, Houston, who, like, took this, like, methodical approach against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. Wait, was that this week?
Last week. Yeah.
Last week.
Last
okay.
week. Yep.
So, like, it made it so their pass rush, which is, like, their bread and butter, it made it neutralized the strength of the Chiefs defense. So if Seattle comes out and they are dynamic in their play calling. So we know that they've like upped their pass rate over expectation. We know that they are more forward leaning through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change in this matchup? I don't know. But like if they come out and they are methodical in their approach on offense to like keep from getting behind the sticks, which is where Kansas City is just going to like tee off on them. So if there is a path, all that to say, there is a path to Kenneth Walker upside. And I think it depends on like more first down pass attempts, more staying ahead of the sticks, which is like, we have no idea how Pete Carroll and co are going to handle things. But like, that's kind of the blueprint to like being competitive against the Chiefs. It's not like sustained drives to keep their offense off the field. Like that's kind of the thought of way to neutralize the Chiefs. It's like, no, dude, just don't get behind the sticks because their defense is built to rush the passer. And if they are allowed to do that, it's almost game over because their offense is so efficient. So like it doesn't matter like time of possession against the Chiefs because they can just score in 3 minutes on any given possession. It's just a matter of like keeping the game competitive and staying ahead of the sticks to not allow their pass rush. So that's an interesting dynamic. You can build ways around that, and you can build like Kenneth Walker into that theorem, I guess. I don't know. There's also some other interesting spots like that I think are going to go, one, undercorrelated, and two, largely overlooked.
Okay, let's save those. Those are not from this game.
Correct.
Okay, save it for 2 seconds because I want to ask you one big question first.
Okay.
This is going to be like a talking point this week where this time of year where we're talking over and over about playoff contending teams. We're talking about extreme weather conditions, and we're talking about teams that are like shutting it down for, whether they're already in the playoffs or whether they're done and they're shutting players down, whether they're divisional games late in the season. Does any of this stuff play like a large role in your mind? I know in DFS, it's kind of like we're waiting till lock anyways, then we have all the pieces. But is there any merit to us thinking early in the week here that like, outside of just going like, hey, the Browns have this terrible total and it's going to be freezing. Is there any merit to thinking about this from a macro level?
The Browns have a terrible game total because of the wind, not because of the cold. Okay. So divorcing those, the only thing in my mind, or that the numbers suggest, is heavy snow accumulate, or the only thing that affect a game total or a game environment from a weather perspective are like heavy snowfall, which accumulates on the field, which affects your ability to basically run your offense. So it's like macro things that affect your ability to run an offense. So like the Waterworks game of week 1, San Francisco against the Bears, that fundamentally affected the way that both teams can run their offense. Heavy snowfall doesn't matter until it's accumulated on the field because it affects the team's ability to run their offense. Same thing with heavy winds. It affects a team's ability to run the offense. The defense is able to condense around the middle of the field, and you cannot do the same things on offense because the wind affects the trajectory of the football. So things like rain, things like it being cold, things like it's going to snow an inch during the game and not collect on the field, that shit doesn't matter because the defense is also dealing with the same conditions. The defense, their hamstrings are tight because it's cold as fuck, or it's raining and the field is not legitimately a swamp. You have to think like the defenders are reactive, right? There's anticipation factor, but like think about a defensive back. They have to read the hips of the route runner, then they have to react, and then they have to make a play on the ball. Is it better for a wide receiver who knows his route and knows how to set his feet and plant in shitty conditions, or is it better for the player having to react? the data suggests that there isn't much of a correlation between rain, between field conditions outside of the extremes with respect to scoring. The same can be said about the cold weather. It doesn't fundamentally alter how a team is going to attack. Look at just last week with Miami against Buffalo. Cold as fuck, snowing. Even it started to accumulate snow on the field, but not until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Did that alter either of those teams, like how they fundamentally run their offense? Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, it's too bad that leverage didn't end up mattering for us because so many people got scared off of it and got discounts on it, and DFS and ownership got discounts on it in these contests. And then it was just like Minnesota just did exactly what they were supposed to do with the spread. It just happened all at the end, so it felt way worse. Like, right?
Yeah, we were right, and then it didn't even matter.
and then even Dalvin Cook ruined all the KJ Osborne leverage with one play. Right? Like it was like, oh, this is what we need. You needed the KJ double. At least it's unique. Oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden Dalvin ruins the shit out of it. And it's just like, oh, I guess you just needed Dalvin, Jefferson, and Cook, or Kirk, like everybody thought.
You just needed all the 16th round offseason best ball wide receivers. You needed Russell Gage. You needed Zay Jones. You needed KJ Osborne. Like, oh man,
so true. So this is part of the Mark, let's go into the other game environments and all this stuff that you were going to lead into, but I think this question plays into it a little bit, is the AJ Brown question. And this is why we led off the top with the Minshew thing, because it's going to be such a pivotal talking point on the slate that like AJ Brown's going to progressively fall to the third round. His ADP is going to go into double digits this week just based on that. He's probably going to end up with an ADP of 12 to 14 by the time the week's over. Are we buying that discount? Like, is that a good thing for us, or is that just...
There's a lot to consider with Philadelphia this week. The first of which is, how are they going to run their offense? Just from a macro perspective.
Yeah,
the second
with
is
Minshew, with Goddard, with whatever.
Yeah, the second is Goddard is back, so that makes the pass offense less concentrated from a theoretical perspective. The third is like, who is Gardner Minshew? Minshew is
I'll tell you.
Right. But like, how does he play the quarterback position? He's a first read quarterback. So he is a guy that will lock onto somebody. And that has changed throughout his career. Like, you look at back to his days in Jacksonville, they didn't have tight ends. They had like Tyler Eifert and James O'Shaughnessy in 2021 when he was with, or 2020 when he was with Jacksonville. So like,
I'll not stand for Tyler Eifert shade on this program, sir.
Typically, well, it's coming heavy. Typically, like when he was in Jacksonville, that player that he locked onto was whoever kind of had the better matchup out of his top two wide receivers. When he's only played 2 games as an Eagle, it was like 2021 week 13 and 2021 week 17. In week 17, Dallas Goedert did not play. In week 13, Dallas Goedert led the team in targets with 6. He caught all 6 passes for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, nice nugget.
But then you look at week 17, and it was like Dallas Goedert was out. Devontae Smith was banged up. They didn't have a lot. It was like Quez Watkins, and it was a lot of uncertainty. So there was no real like locked onto one guy. But he's very much a first read quarterback. Who is that?
Yeah, Jalen Reagor played 93% of snaps that week.
Yeah, so they didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
So the problem there from a DFS perspective, from a projections perspective, is projecting a range of outcomes for a team that has 3 alphas, basically Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and Dallas Goedert.
And Gardner Minshew. 4 alphas.
Well, he's the alpha and omega, dude. I mean, come on. So projecting like ranges of outcomes, projecting mean projections, all the stuff that like these optos and all the new tools that we have are going to try and do this week, they're going to be very conservative. When the fact of the matter is, we don't really know who Gardner Minshew is going to lock on as his number one. we don't really know like what that's going to be. All we kind of know is like the matchup favors the wide receiver 2 and tight end a little bit, but it's like whoever Gardner is going to lock onto is going to be like have a chance to be one of the top performers on the slate. Whether that's Dallas Goedert, whether that's Devontae Smith away from Trevon Diggs, I don't know. Like, but it's just kind of a wide range of outcomes that we don't really know right now.
That's fair. Yeah, I like that. I'll be very interested to see where the projection models come out on it and that sort of thing. The line started and has moved 4 points, obviously in the wrong direction. 4 points, it's a lot, but I don't know. They still have a 24.5 point team total. So I'm very intrigued. They're playing indoors. They're whatever. I'm very intrigued about this, but we've talked so much on this program, and Nez has brought it up consistently about the AJ Brown versus Devontae Smith being not that grand a difference. So, I mean, maybe even buying the dip on AJ Brown doesn't necessarily matter, right?
Yeah, and the other dynamics there is like so there's a lot going on, like I said. The other dynamic there is Devontae Smith has been filling this like short area role with Dallas Goedert out. That's probably going to shift back to a more intermediate to downfield role. Like AJ Brown.
Really good point.
So and then does Dallas shadow AJ Brown and Trevon Diggs? Do they play sides? Do they play quarters? Are they in cover 4 a lot? Are they in cover 2? We don't know these things. But what we know is like this offense has upside regardless of who's in at signal caller, because Sirianni is one of the most adaptable head coaches from a game management and game calling perspective. Like look at last week that we were all like, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you running Miles Sanders? And it was like, dude, they were stacking the boxes and they were giving us man coverage. We're going to throw the ball. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So like there's just a lot going on. It's a wide range of outcomes, and I want to have exposure to a top offense. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that summarizes it pretty good for as much as we know at this point in time. LED bringing up an interesting comp here that I kind of like. Diggs is second coming of Marcus Peters, like just like that kind of like flash play gambler. I like that.
100%.
I think this is a very interesting week to get hyper exploitative at the top of drafts. And the reason I say that is because I think there is kind of like this tier of 9-10 names, and then there's a kind of a drop off that you can just kind of pick and choose every single draft if you really wanted to. Because we've seen drafts where Henry goes 101. I've seen drafts where Henry goes 1-5, stuff like that. Jefferson's pretty consistent in the 1 through 4 range, but like you can get Diggs at 6-7, you can get Jamar at 7-8 sometimes. The 2 quarterbacks going, but basically there's this tier of 2 running backs, Kelsey, and 3 wide receivers that are consistently going within like the first 9 picks. What is that? 8 picks. But I don't necessarily have a strong lean as to which order they should be going in. Therefore, I think if you wanted to, you could take the back end or middle of the board guy, thrust him up to your 101, and take him 100% of the time if you really wanted to this week and just take a stand. The board shapes out to be that way. Like if you wanted to, I don't know if it's the best play style, but it's definitely in play this week. Whereas other weeks it's not in play because you can just never get somebody because they never fall.
I'm going to talk about some of the like expected undercorrelated spots for both DFS and what I'm seeing from ADP. I think that's going to help a lot. So,
okay.
These are coming from my NBC piece, which is called the DFS turnaround, which I examined the Millie Maker winner from the previous week and port those lessons learned to the following week. And one of the lessons from this week was like the team overstack without correlation. That was from the Kansas City Chiefs. The Millie Maker winner had 4 Chiefs on it. And in looking for like spots like that, what is the blueprint for that? It's like top offense who is less than concentrated, but has the ability to put up bulk scoring. So like the like marquee example of that this week is the Buffalo Bills against Chicago. Okay. We just saw Chicago's defense be a little bit more dynamic in how they game plan. They stack the box against Philadelphia. Are they likely to do that against Buffalo? Probably not. But this will be the first game in a month that the Bills have played against an opponent that does not get pressure on the quarterback. We've talked about how that's been an issue for Josh Allen throughout his career. He's gotten way better this year at diagnosing the blitz and finding the room behind it, but he still is very pressure sensitive.
Okay.
The Chicago Bears, atrocious at getting to the quarterback. Absolutely atrocious at getting pressure. So does what we've seen over the last 3 games where the Bills played Miami, they played the Jets, and they played, I don't know, somebody else who is good at getting to the quarterback.
New England.
Yeah. So all these defenses that are generating pressure, that has led to Josh Allen finding the holes behind the pressure generated. And that has led to secondary players on the Bills. We saw Dawson Knox last week. We've seen James Cook and Nyheim Hines, who went off. They scored last week. We've seen Isaiah McKenzie 2 weeks ago against the Jets, or was that against New England? Whatever. So we've seen these secondary players.
New England Thanksgiving slate.
Yeah. So we've seen these secondary players step up, and that's out of necessity against the pressure. Against Chicago, Josh Allen's going to have time. He's going to have time to allow Gabe Davis routes to establish. He's going to have time to pick up Stephon Diggs, like as that X-type wide receiver in the holes of Chicago's zone defense. So the upside of like Josh Allen plus Stephon Diggs plus Gabe Davis, or a skinny stack of one of those pass catchers, is like back this week because it has been somewhat neutralized because of the pressure on Josh Allen. That's not going to be there this week. So thinking about like these scenarios of like, what is a causal factor? What is a signal? Why have things been happening the way that they've been happening? It's like the Bills have been playing difficult defenses for a month, and now they are not playing a difficult defense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want exposure to like Buffalo Bills overstacks. Another like example of like trying to find these spots for like disproportionate upside is kind of how I term it. It's like whether that's upside versus ADP, whether that's upside versus cost in TFS, players that have that disproportionate upside, ceiling versus cost, or ADP, whatever. J.K. Dobbins has consecutive 100-yard rush games. He's playing an Atlanta defense that cannot stop a sneeze. And oh, by the way, like Dean Pease, their defensive coordinator, just like got carted off the field before their last game. So they played their last game without their defensive coordinator. I don't know what his status is, but now Drake London on the other side of that game is top 10 in both targets per route run rate and team target market share. We know that's like a more muted role, but like he just saw 42.8, something like that % team target market share last week with the quarterback change. So like a sneaky upside secondary correlation, like J.K. Dobbins, Drake London.
Sneaky mini stack for us at 32.2 and 35.9.
Yep.
Yeah, so like your last 2 picks, like finding these spots with the disproportionate upside based on ADP or based on price and DFS is always going to be like a plus EV endeavor. Another example is Jamar Chase and Jacoby Myers in the lower than should be, I think, game total in Cincinnati versus New England.
Yeah.
New England does not have the secondary pieces to neutralize an opposing like top 5 wide receiver, an alpha. We've seen it with Justin Jefferson. We've seen it with all these different like alpha type wide receivers this year. They just don't have the pieces anymore to neutralize those guys.
Ramondre's ADP was in that same vein in using Ramondre instead of Jacoby Myers, just because Ramondre had an ADP outside of 35 all night, and now it's gotten thrust up to 23.5. But, we were getting him there too as that same kind of correlation pattern.
Yeah. And if you think about like what are ways that game environment could overperform expectations, it's probably like a Jamar Chase Rex of 80-yarder. And that's why the correlation of like, if Jamar Chase breaks a long one, then the Patriots are probably throwing more, then Jacoby Myers is probably more relevant. And he's going to probably go undrafted in Underdog. He's probably going to go under-owned on DraftKings because he came back after a concussion last week and played only like 68% of the offensive snaps. This is his second week removed from concussion, and he's the primary guy pass catcher wise on that offense. So there's some sneaky upside there. And these are like the things where when I look at a slate, I'm not like diagnosing, oh, this is an ugly slate. I'm like looking for the game environments that could still produce, the teams that could still produce, and then going down to like these secondary correlation spots and finding where we can find some hidden upside.
Love it. Yeah, I like that shout a lot. I like confirmation bias for me on the Cincinnati spot because I've been doing a lot of Chase Ramondre or Higgins Ramondre or just Chase. I've been really about that one so far. Nez, haven't heard from you in a hot minute, man. Sounds like you want to say something. What do you got?
I'm a ton of Ramondre so far for me. I think he's just a fantastic running back in a pretty good spot. Like Mark said, I think this total is probably a hair too low, in my opinion. Played a pretty ugly game, Bengals did, against the Bucks last week, but obviously it turned out where guys ended up getting home. But I think that might be leaving a bad taste in people's mouths. I'm not really too worried about it. This is a slate devoid of good spots, and give me Chase. I'll take Joe Burrow as well, and Ramondre I think is for me as well. And we've seen some people in the chat talk about Nick Chubb as well as Alvin Kamara. The total is so low in that game, like we already said, is like a 31.5. Nick Chubb is going super, super late. I think there's probably I feel better about taking Nick Chubb than I do Alvin Kamara. I don't want like anything to do with Alvin Kamara, even though the Browns have a terrible run defense. I'm not sure if you guys feel differently where you're willing to go back to the well there. I'm off Alvin Kamara for the rest of the season.
Dude, David Johnson ran more routes than Kamara last week. Like what?
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked by that. I saw that one yesterday. I was like, holy shit.
I don't know what's going on, whether it's the pending legal shit or if it's something that he did team-wise or what, but like it's
I got you. Clear. Comp guy. You ready for comp guy?
Yeah.
He's having that Le'Veon Bell fall off, then the legality stuff hits over the summer and he gets cut.
Yeah, it's very probable, or not probable. It's very possible. I mean, they would save. God, I have to look at his contract situation. I think he has like $8 million dead cap, but other than that, they would save some good change. I think
they're in a bad spot just as a whole. Just the fact, I mean, they don't have their first round pick. The team is kind of in shambles. Sort of.
Yeah, Dennis Allen ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's 1-to-1 to the Rams, but it feels Rams-esque with where they're at right now.
Yeah, that's
you
massive.
See that? Yeah,
it's a SPO track.
Yeah.
So they have an out after.
It's funny. I call it spot track.
Call it whatever you want.
Spot rack, dude.
Yeah.
It has its faults, but it's decent for looking at cap
he's
hits.
a 19 mil cap hit.
Yeah.
Or dead cap with 16 mil cap hit. Fuck.
Yeah.
He's got 2 more years on the books. I'm assuming. Well, is that even guaranteed? Like, that's why I don't even try to read in too much to NFL contracts, because half the shit I'm just like I don't even understand. But it looks like that that in 2025, that's 22 mil guaranteed. It looks like with a 27 mil cap hit. Like,
yeah, he got the 22
Yeah.
up front, which is like paid out and dispersed over time, but like the guaranteed money attached to this 5-year deal is 22.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah. Either way, man. Like, I have trouble getting to Kamara this week. If this is the week where he hits and he puts up 3 touchdowns again, Godspeed. I won't be there at the top, but I can't advocate for that for him to be taken. And even though, I mean, they're probably going to lean on the run more.
Saints are quiet quitting. That's well put.
Yeah. I don't know, but are you guys feeling Nick Chubb? I mean, we all know the Nick Chubb thesis for him to get home. It feels like they're going to have to lean on the ground game more. But why would the Saints not just like stuff the box as well?
Never overweight can always break the slate. It's like
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's
my
his motto.
Go-to Nick Chubb line.
He was up to his highest snap rate of the season last week at 70%, and he still put up 8 fantasy points? I don't know, dude.
He doesn't catch the ball at all.
He's been a top 10 running back once since week 10. He's only been RB1 once. Other than that, he has never been a top 5 running back. It's just, I don't know. He can help you, but I'm not going there.
Yeah, it's just that offense has become so conservative too with Deshaun Watson, which is like we expected the inverse.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, $250 million rapist who's worse than your backup Brissett. Come on, man.
Malpractice.
Absolute
malpractice.
Chad applying some actual data, like the intelligent man that he is, from the sheets. We've compiled 19 drafts so far, and implying that basically what I was saying about the exploitative nature is outside of CMC and Kelsey, like basically 25% of the time, everybody else is available thereafter. So it is kind of, every player except for CMC, Kelsey, and JJ are available after pick 5 more than 25% of the time, which basically implies that you can reach the other way for whomever you would like. So it does set up for an interesting week to get pretty exploitative there. Hank bringing up in the chat that I hate reading into weather this early in the week, but 40 mile per hour gusts in Chicago within range of outcomes. That is quite dicey because that magic number we talk about wind in knots on this program, actually, but how many knots would that be there, Mark?
40 miles per hour is about 36 knots, something like that.
36 knots. That's too high for our liking.
No me gusta.
What's the magic number for wind for you? Like 18 to 20, something like that.
25 sustained is kind of
25 sustained. All right. Yeah. And 40 is definitely well beyond that, according to my mathematics degree.
Gusting is going to affect kicking. So like above 25 gusting is going to affect kicking. 25 sustained is kind of my cutoff for pass attack stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I had an interesting question in the chats. Yo, what up, Joko? What up, baby Stevie in here? Love to see it. One of the things that I wanted to ask, Connor's not on the slate, but I just wanted to say, if I could offer you 5 running backs rest of season for your best ball teams, for your season-long teams, would James Conner be one of them?
Close. It'd be real close. I mean,
CMC and Henry, right? Like those are just 2 off the top that you would take. Who else are we going with?
Eckler.
Oh yeah, of course. Yep.
Josh Jacobs.
Oh yeah, check. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Maybe 5 was a little high.
Yeah, but I mean, the point stands. The dude is seeing like 97% snap rates. Is like the dude is playing some football, and that's really all you can ask for. It's the most predictive. Look at Connor's snap rates over the last 3 weeks: 97%, 95%, 91%. The most correlative or predictive metric for running back production is being on the field. It's what it is. So the dude is on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Who did are they? Why am I not seeing them?
Am I crazy?
We're looking on Sunday. They're playing Sunday night
in here.
That was probably before.
I got Eckler and Hurts in here in the. Yeah, but this is 19 drafts updated on the 16 main. But then Jacobs is in here too. 1%. So somebody drafted Josh Jacobs and he's not on the slate. Like what?
Yeah,
that's
okay.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It might
maybe
just
that's
be
everything.
Like a couple names that. Yeah, maybe it's just not.
So are you guys
you
guys really scared of this wind in Chicago? Like I've gotten a couple Diggs Allen stacks and like I'm not mad about it, but
yeah.
Diggs is going to be far less affected from the wind than a guy like Gabe Davis.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think Diggs is much affected at all. And considering like Josh Allen's arm strength,
that's what I'm saying. Like I think if there's
12
any
yarders aren't going to be affected as much.
Yeah,
Aaron Jones, that's a good one too, especially with the Dylan. We were talking about that. One thing that I kind of buried the lead on my thoughts off the top here about just, I did 15 of these last night or whatever. This is the thinnest wide receiver slate on a main slate I have seen in a long, long time. And I think it should be impacting our draft style. If I look at running back right now, I can make a case for, Saquon's ADP. Holy shit. How reactionary are we to him getting in the end zone last week? It's just wild.
It's not a horrible matchup, though.
No,
agreed.
It's way worse than public perception. We talked about this last week. Minnesota's a pass funnel defense for sure. I'll dig up the stats, but continue.
Ooh, like it. Well, I'm just looking at the running back position, and I can go all the way down into this low 30s ADP range and find guys that I'm fine playing this week. I'm fine playing David Montgomery. I'm fine going back to the Pacheco well at a discount. Like, why can't that narrative come home? Like, Seattle is a run funnel. Like, they're really bad on the ground. We saw what Josh Jacobs did to them a couple weeks ago. Like Kenneth Walker sitting here with a 30 ADP, Miles Sanders. What if they just lean back into the run this week at this discount? You brought up J.K. Dobbins already. Like there's a bunch of playable names in my opinion down here. For me, wide receiver falls off a cliff after this kind of Jefferson, Diggs, Chase, and then you can go this next tier is Amon-Ra and DK. I actually think I like DK more than Amon-Ra this week. And then there's uncertainty surrounding AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and T. Higgins have been two of my targets. Juju when stacked with Mahomes primarily or as a mini with DK. But then like all of a sudden, I really don't know what to do with this grouping from 28 down of like DJ Moore, like, yep, nice matchup, but I don't trust Sam Darnold with shit. And the reason he's thrust up is the fact that he finally found the end zone again. Devontae Smith, we already talked about the Minshew thing. Gabe Davis with the wind now, but primarily as a stack partner. We know he can break the slate if he gets two of those. Terry's usage is great, but really tough matchup against San Fran. The Olave total I'm scared of. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can poke holes in everything down here. And I think what we're going to see with the field this week is it gravitates really heavily back to 1-2-2-1 builds because of this. So what I've been really focusing on early in the week is slamming alpha wide receivers together and getting unique combinations of those first 7 names. Just get as many of them as I can and then figure the rest of the shit out after, whether I want to backstack, whether I want to whatever. But my plan has been like taking Jefferson over Derrick Henry, taking this kind of thing, because I just think that's where the leverage is. It's not necessarily that I believe that, hey, Derrick Henry definitely has 40 burger in his range of outcomes, 50 burger. But it's just kind of how I've been thinking through the slate. And then tight end and quarterback are the two deepest in which I think that we've seen in a long, long time. Like we have this Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews all on the slate together again. And then you have the Dawson Knox game environment. You have the Hawkinson game environment. You have Taysom wild card, especially if Mark Ingram doesn't go again. There's just all sorts of kind of like fun names to click. We got Goddard hanging out down here. why can't he be the focal point of that? Like Mark pointed out with Minshew, the one game they played together last year. Anyways. And then, just at quarterback, easy backstack with Geno, easy backstack with Lamar Andrews. You can take some shots on Dak when CD. You could take all these mini stacks are all available. So I've been really gravitating to thrusting the wide receivers up my board. What do you guys think?
Are we expecting Lamar to play?
No idea. I think it's an easy swap. I drafted 2 Hurts teams when he had the Q tag before the D too, just because he was Mr. Irrelevant. He was my 36th pick. And then I was just like, I can swap it into whatever. So that was my thought process there. And then it was like, at that point in time, it was still like range outcomes that like maybe he could gut it out and play. And then you have big leverage with Hurts. But Lamar, for me, I've just kind of been mixing back stacks, not getting crazy exploitive with it. But I think it's definitely a possibility he plays. Do I think it's likely? No. Do I think it's, I don't know, 28% chance? Sure. Not a doctor.
Let's go back to Minnesota against the run, and then let's rip one, dude. You want to?
Yep, let's do it. Minnesota against the run.
Minnesota is 15th in DVOA against the run, 27th in DVOA against the pass. They have allowed just 4.21 adjusted line yards on defense, their defensive line, and they've held opposing running backs to just 3.9 yards per carry. That's 6th best in the league. So, wow. The narrative is still wrong on Minnesota.
Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. If like gun to my head, I would have been like, I don't know, they're 18th in DVOA against the run, and they give up 4.3, 4.5 yards per carry. That's what I would have just if you just asked me to guess. I definitely would have been wrong there.
I still like Saquon. I just like the game environment. I think that I think the Giants are going to be able to move the football, and I guess the thesis is hopefully Saquon is involved in the passing game, and hopefully they find themselves at the goal line for him to score some touchdowns.
I think there's a high potential for post dramatic win letdown for the Giants. This is still, when you look at that game environment, I think there's going to be some misconceptions and misperceptions about that game environment too. The Giants are still trying to keep games close by playing boring ass football into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Which is not the thesis we were sold on Brian Dable. We were like, yeah, he's coming over here. He's going to make Daniel Jones into Josh Allen light. He's going to fall out. They're going to spread it around. Yeah.
With Minnesota, there's misconceptions with their offense as well. They are a very, very conservative offense until forced otherwise. Kirk Cousins is towards the bottom of the league in intended air yards per pass attempt. Even Justin Jefferson, who's putting up could be the greatest wide receiver season of all time, has a moderate 11 point something ADOT, which is in the wide receiver 4.
You guys want to try for?
We know that's how Cousins likes to play, though.
Diggs? You guys want to try for a little Allen Diggs here?
Yeah, I've typically gone Diggs first.
All right, then we're gonna go Allen first and see what happens.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't think it matters. Honestly.
Oh snap! Takes it from us.
Jeez,
it matters.
Does Nez know what he's talking about?
All right, load up the next one, boys. Let's go.
Put this one on autopilot.
This one's gone.
That's funny.
I think Joe. I'm not gonna say it. He wouldn't, would he? Go 2 wide receivers here? Yeah, he's a sucker. That's probably the best.
There we go.
There. Fuck it, Josh Allen comes out of the woodworks with a 15 carry, 3 touchdown on the ground game.
I don't know how he fails against the Bears. I don't.
Oh, famous last words, bro.
I know.
When Isaiah Hodgins is your WR2, you kind of have to do what you can. I love that.
No, dude. Darius Slayton was the wide receiver 5 coming into the season. Isaiah Hodgins was on Buffalo. Richie James was practice squad. It's been a trip, dude.
Yeah. Darius Slayton is legit good. I don't care.
I like the dude. We like the Slayton for sure.
I
don't know.
Here's a couple names out here. We're talking little Daniel Jones, Slayton, Skinny. What about a little flop lag on Ayuk there? That's I don't know. Why not? Like, is this Purdy stuff for real? Like, can he support Kittle, CMC, and Ayuk having ADPs inside of 35, 32? No.
No.
Yeah.
I think Ayuk is probably DFS only.
Okay.
Purdy is actually above average, or at least he's playing above average in pocket presence in reading a defense, which has been insane because like you would not think that out of Mr. Irrelevant, last pick, 7th round quarterback. What that means though is he has been able to diagnose defenses very rapidly, and that has led to a lot of, and he's been very conservative in that. So that's led to a lot of the checkdowns. It's led to basically all of Ayuk and Kittle's production that they've seen with Brock Purdy has been design shit. So like that double.
Who do you guys like here? We got Cook, Pollard, Higgins, Andrews, Ramondre.
I think Tony Pollard is really interesting.
How do we still have access to quarterbacks? What the fuck?
I just haven't clicked it off.
Is that a desktop thing?
On desktop, it doesn't auto hide. Tony Pollard's mine. He's been falling. Like he would probably come back to us like off the turn, and I just don't really understand why.
I haven't clicked his name yet.
I'm really into him this week, and I know there's a lot of good options at running back, but they're heavily favored right now, like -5.5. They've been the Eagles' weakness is they've been weak against the ground.
I like that too because it sets up the back stack or the back correlation of either Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, and Dallas Goedert, man, right now does not that just doesn't
or
really
Sanders.
make sense to me at all.
Where are we at? Scroll up.
Scroll up. Well, that's not what I'm about.
Those are words he doesn't understand.
Mark Andrews, Dalvin Cook. What do you guys think about Dalvin?
Scroll down. Dude, say I don't know, Gabe Davis.
What about your boy Ken Walker?
We're going with Gabe Davis.
Oh yeah, we got Josh. Okay,
we're leaning into that win.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
Josh Allen doesn't care about the wind against the goddamn Bears, dude.
You can throw that shit over the mountains, through the wind. Like, you guys got a fucking hose, man.
I'm curious what you guys think about if the Bills have a freak of a QB in Josh Allen, do they benefit from not playing in a dome because of that? Because they have a QB that can weather the elements and can probably fare better in inclement weather than any other quarterback. Does that then become an advantage for them to not play in an ideal environment for their stud quarterback? Yes or no?
I don't know. We need our squared correlation.
Yeah.
We need our man monkey brains to say yes or fucking no. Does that
Josh Allen big throw football good?
Yes.
That is the
take. I don't think there's a definitive yes or no, but I think I do think that the Bills do have an advantage though.
Devontae Smith goes there. I actually did not notice if Dallas Goedert went. I don't think he did. We could do what do you guys do? Like Miles Sanders? Do you like Goddard? Do you like Dawson
Ramondre
Knox?
way more than Miles Sanders.
No Mondre, especially with Jamar Chase already.
Yeah.
And then we grab Goddard on the back side.
This is such a good fucking team. Yeah, get Dallas.
It's not bad.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna Venmo you $250 for this.
Yeah, I want my piece.
All right, yes, 175 then, or whatever the hell.
Or whatever.
Maths. Yeah. Our monkey brains can't do that shit.
This is now worth more than the $5, so you can buy your share of this one entry for more than it costs to enter.
I think there's one thing that I want to experiment with in these contests is onslaughting one side of a game that we like with no bringbacks, no whatever, because I think our DFS brains are so concentrated on like bringbacks and the pace needed to be pushed by the other side and and it makes a lot more sense in a 9-person roster. I think, than a 6-person roster, but I don't know yet. And we've seen a lot of these like good teams where they have like 2 condensed pieces from the same team, but without the quarterback, or they have a running back and a wide receiver from the same game without the quarterback, and all
Take
this kind
Goddard,
of
you
weird
monkey.
stuff. Okay.
I didn't want it to time out.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Theoretically, it's actually the inverse. So
Right. Yeah.
Theoretically, the overstack is more viable in a contest with more roster spots.
Exactly. Yeah. It's breaking my brain.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Because the fewer, so think about optimal versus what is needed to win. The gap in that, the difference in that increases as you put in more games on a slate. It increases as you add in more roster spots. That means that like the fewer of those variables that you have, the closer to optimal you need to be.
Right. Yes.
And the closer to optimal takes out the overstacks from the picture at a higher rate.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
I don't know.
It's breaking my brain. It's breaking my brain.
It's
breaking it breaks my brain to compare results to like what we theoretically know in quotations is correct, because we don't actually know, but it's very interesting. Yeah.
I got to run, guys.
Yeah. No worries, dude.
Thanks as always, Mark. Appreciate you.
We'll see you, boys.
Peace, buddy.
Peace, bro.
Oh, I was inverted in here.
Oh boy, I'm shaking now.
Always
ABS.
BBS stacking. Ooh, love it. Dial up a little Alec Baldwin meme with that on it.
What Alec Baldwin meme?
Oh, you don't know the ABCs always be closing?
I know always be closing. I didn't know that was tied to Alec.
Oh, it's like a classic scene from Glenn Ross. I think that's what the movie's called. I don't know. It's like a movie from like the 90s about like trading. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And there's like a whole scene on it. And then he did like shticks on it on SNL for like, when he'd be, no, it's not Boiler Room, grow up. Boiler Room. Boiler Room is Glenn Ross, but Boiler Room's an absolute classic too with Ben Affleck, and he opens up a trading firm, and he's at like the front of this table, and he's got like a classic speech where he's like fuck you mom and dad, let me see how it feels when you're making their Lexus payments. It's like, it's so good.
That's the perfect guy to do that.
Do we want to take Derrick Henry here? Because I don't think Paul will let us get an Allen Diggs if we try for it.
Take Derrick Henry.
You want to? Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mind, this is kind of like the 4 names that kind of pop at the top there.
Yeah, that's a very solid top 4. I don't like.
Paul's gonna get it.
Of course he is.
Paul's going to get it because he took Diggs first after I poo-pooed you on taking Diggs first. Now he's going to get it.
These guys are scared of Bills at Chicago. I'm telling you, everybody is terrified of it, and probably for good reason. I mean, that rain, that wind, the wind is really all anyone's talking about. I was scrolling TikTok. Whoa, okay, Brady Ball. I respect the hell out of that. Going to Chase Burrow. Get your guy.
Yeah. I'd prefer to do something else and then take Burrow in the 3rd, but yeah, I get it.
I respect it.
Flip the board. I'm never going to fault a man for flipping the board.
Now here's a decision point for us, and I think my fish brain, like, I really like that Mahomes matchup against Seattle.
Sure, I mean, I'm about it.
Yeah, and he's stackable with Juju, or if you wanted to get like super cute. Hardman's coming back this week.
The whole Hardman MVS Tony dart throws is going to be tough. I think we're going to see a lot of stacking Mahomes with McKinnon this week, just because of reactionary to the last 2 weeks.
And I actually think it's smart.
Yeah, it seems fine.
McKinnon has been so good for them, and they're trying to win because they want to get the bye. And I'm not sure. I think the Bills own the tiebreaker right now. Did they beat? I don't know if it's head to head or what, but the stream is
influencers, baby.
Sorry, man. We make the markets. We are the hands controlling the puppets. That is ADP. I don't know what to tell you. I apologize. We just got that kind of weight. Yeah, the dart throw for Mahomes is tough, but I really think McKinnon is like here to stay. I don't think it's chasing points. I think he actually has a very, very good role. And I don't know exactly what took it so long, but maybe they were just waiting to get later in the season. It's just like weird because it always seemed like he was obviously the guy. AJ
and they
Brown
loved him in the
kind of cool.
They loved him in the postseason last year. That's why.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, this is going to be why we led with Gardner. This is why we led with so much of this, is because it is a decision point on the slate of like what we're.
The thing is,
before you AJ Brown in the. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay because we have other options, but like Juju is probably not making it back.
I was kind of hoping that there was a glimmer of hope that he might, but yeah, you're probably right. He's not going to.
Because like if you click the wide receiver button, like after Juju, there's like nobody like you talked about.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I was thinking there's a glimmer of hope that it comes back. Just because this player at the end has been doing some kind of rogue shit there. And
you're right. I think you're right. But Paul might have other things in mind. I think he goes tight end.
Yeah, but there's some alpha tight ends, like I think Juju is kind of like, he's a kind of a teardrop, but with all those other wide receivers coming back in the fold, and we know how much Mahomes likes to spread it around. I mean, I've been mixing in some Noah Fant for the same slot. Fant. Yeah, the same slot narrative as Mark was bringing up there. Paul takes that. Do you want to go tight end here? And do you have a preference? Or we could go the McKinnon route, or we could save that slot for like a Walker or a Fant.
Doesn't Mark Andrews against the Falcons, if you hadn't considered his his half season dud, doesn't this seem like just absolute smash?
Yes.
Just like forget about the fact that he's been so disappointing after the first 5 weeks of the season. I really like that.
Okay. Would you, this is where my brain is like going weird here. George Kittle obviously thrust up because he just had the big 2-touchdown game. We saw what he did over the middle of the field with his ball in his hands on an island game versus Seattle, right?
Yep.
If we had seen that same game from Mark Andrews is a round and a half higher here.
Yeah.
Instead, we get this, middle of the day sleepy game that nobody watched between the two great games on Saturday. And then there was like, the Huntley maybe not going to play, blah, blah, blah. Right. And we're talking about all this. If you give me this glimmer of hope that Lamar might be back, then you give me Atlanta, you give me this setup. I mean, I'm taking Mark Andrews every single time. And I think the field would be too.
Yeah.
If we hadn't just seen Kelsey smash in an island game, right?
The island games really do factor into a lot of these ADPs because a lot
they
of
absolutely
people
do.
Like you see it, then you actually sit and watch the game. So
Jerick McKinnon kind of staring us in the face here.
And I don't think it's too overthinking it. Like I'm gonna have a lot of Jerick McKinnon this week, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you could also twist my arm into like they've clearly found something with Jerick McKinnon being like this pass catching back, being like used in the role that we all dreamed Jerick McKinnon was going to have when he signed that lucrative deal with the 49ers, and he just could never stay healthy. And it was like, every time you had him as like a Adrian Peterson handcuff in Minnesota, and you're like, yes, like this is going to be the guy, right? Like he's broken the spark test. He's getting LaDainian Tomlinson comps. Like, look at this guy go, right? I was inverted going with a little mini Godwin there. I like that. That's kind of fun.
Cool. DJ Moore looks good. We have to take a wide out.
We got to go wide out here. I was thinking, we could go like a Drake London little mini here too. Where's that too cute? I'll just cue that up. Just I'm trying to get a little off the board.
Yeah. I need Drake London this week. I have him in one of my advancing teams, so I wouldn't have said no to that because I have to have rose colored glasses when looking at that dude this week.
Yeah,
so I need it bad.
Oh man, yeah, it's kind of what we were saying. Like this team was the opposite of how we wanted to build. In theory, I think I would have preferred this team a little bit more if we went somebody other than DJ Moore, obviously. But if we went instead of Mark Andrews and we had the Noah Fant as like the 6th round run back, and then this wide receiver was 5th round wide receiver. But looking at the board here, I mean, nobody really went wide receiver after, so we kind of just had the same decision again. Yeah, maybe not. But I think that just plays to the point that like I think wide receiver kind of falls off a cliff, and if you want to build like wide receiver heavy builds, it has to be the first 2 or 3 rounds, right?
Yeah, I haven't done too much scrolling down on wide receiver to find anybody that's going to be viable, but Slayton is definitely up there, and I think other people will get there too. But it'll still be unique, even though it sounds good to everybody whenever you say it out loud. I still don't think he'll be taking a ton. Yeah, so that'll be something that I'd like to go to.
Yeah. Ever drafted a team on stream that he likes? I think I would have went different here. Yep, it's true. It's true. Actually, you know what's funny? My highest scoring basketball team yesterday that would have had a real legit chance was when I jumped the shark on Sabonis and took him at the 104 when you guys weren't paying attention to me. And then I took Siakam coming back. I got a 5th round CJ McCollum and something like this, right? Like that was the combination. And we were doing it on stream. And it was also right when we were having the conversation about how I was like, LeBron's not playing, like Booker's not playing. I was going on and on about this. And I fucking took Mikal Bridges in the 4th round. And Numi looks at me like I'm from outer space, right? He looks at me from outer space. If I had any other player within that ADP range instead of Mikal Bridges, I probably would have finished in at least the top 5 last night.
Oh my god! What did he end up with? Like 20 points, or
because I took Kelly Oubre with the last pick as well too, so I smashed that pick because I was like, yeah, man, this is the Oubre narrative, like foul trouble for Ball and blah blah blah. And do you like CMC? Do you like Jefferson? Do you want to try something weird? What do you like?
I don't have CMC yet, so
okay,
let's go ahead and take him. He's obviously just like super safe.
I'm pretty interested to see what happens with Brock Purdy here. Like, if Big Dick Brock falls off of Big Cock Brock there, if he falls off a cliff here at some point in time, or if the scheme is just so nice for him.
Like, what's gonna happen if like everybody? I've talked. So here's an example, right? I really wonder what the spread would be with Lions versus 49ers in a neutral game. What would that spread be? And I'm talking to people who like I respect, and they're like, the Niners would dog walk the Lions. It wouldn't even be a game. They would get blown out. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm not so certain. I'm not so certain. I don't know. I'm thinking like the Niners, like if Brock Purdy, like you said, if he makes a mistake and he throws a pick 6, now like holy shit, they're playing from behind. Like, can he play from behind? We haven't even had to see it yet, and maybe they're so good that we never have to answer that question. But
Amon-Ra, I don't know. Like, it feels like all these builds turn out.
I know, right? But I like it. I like it. Yeah, we'll get weird later, but yeah, I think right now, the field is pretty good at like the top 20. Like once you get past, well, even Ramondre, man, like is a good pick. Maybe the top 25. Once you get past that, then we can start to like. It's hard. This is the more that I look at this, man. It seems like a week where it's going to be hard to get cute because we have our studs and we have some awful games, and it's like just got to take your points where you can get them this week.
Yeah, it becomes an interesting week where, like, we were talking about the exploitive thing off the start there, where it's like,
Yeah.
if you just hammer all these high ADP guys and then just throw darts at quarterback after, like quarterback and tight end darts, you're going to end up with very similar builds over and over again, but you're going to be consolidated around like what we think the top plays on the slate are. But I don't know if that's, I don't know. It feels like that's better because we're missing like, we're missing so many high end talents, right? I don't know.
Yeah, let's do something
I kind of
weird
like
here.
this. I kind of like this.
Yeah, that's kind
Like,
of
I kind of just like, I think it falls off after that, and I kind of like doing this, and then we can kind of just open it up.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb is always a good play.
He just feels good.
He feels great.
Yeah, but back to the Niners thing. Yeah, it's very interesting because like the strength of that team is obviously their defense, right? And then they just have so much talent at the skill position, right? Like you just get the ball out of your hand quickly, and like even like Brandon Ayuk, like that guy can house shit, right? Like
yes, he can.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you just need a facilitator of the ball. So maybe it doesn't matter, but if it does come down to like, hey, we're not in control of this game, we're not managing this game, like you're saying, yeah, I could see. I could see.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict it, but you can't predict like, oh, well, like this game, like watch, like special teams is gonna like make a game changing play, or like Purdy pick six is coming, or like a fumble, to the house. But when that adversity comes, then it'll be interesting to see how this team responds, because if Mahomes faces 21-point adversity, we've seen it in the playoffs, like it doesn't matter because it's Patrick Mahomes, and he can literally just like will a team to victory. If the Niners, if something goes wrong and they're down 10 plus points, I think they could be fucked. And I don't think you can say that about other teams, like the other top three teams like Bengals, Bills, and Chiefs.
Yeah, entirely
That's
fair.
my spiel.
Yeah, I like it. I like Justin Fields.
I'd say Fields or Geno.
Yeah, I think
Geno's going to throw like 55 times this week, and then tack on Noah Fant.
I think you're right. Yeah, I guess I was thinking that my plan in my brain before this all happened was Juju, Fant, Geno as well as to like finish it, but then Juju went 2 picks before us, and then I was kind of like left just kind of with my.
And I don't know that we need to do Cole Kmet. I don't think we have to. I think the thesis is Justin Fields is doing it on the ground by himself. He's cognizant of that rushing record. He made comments about it.
What about a Dawson Knox mini? And then we get off the board with the last one here. We could do Devontae Smith too. We could do Miles Sanders. We could do give me a name.
Devontae Smith, because of the bring back.
Okay.
And it's in the dome. Let's go ahead and let's buy into the cold weather. Everyone too cold to catch a football, too cold to throw the football. Let's get a game stack there.
This is interesting. Shefty bomb. Chubb didn't practice today due to a foot issue. Very interesting.
That total is going to dip to like 24. Never
hoops on this stream, bud.
No way, man. We would get fined and sued.
Good shouts to Chad here. 6th place last night. Yeah, Aiden. I mean, he was a really good pick, and he was popping in the ETR stuff. And
you called him out as a no. Did you?
Yeah,
not?
I mean,
or was that another slate?
It was a no because I thought he was going to sit in the same thing. Like I thought as soon as LeBron was out, Booker was out, I thought Aiden would sit as well. But then Aiden ended up playing, and they just got so far ahead that they didn't need him, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and sat him down.
Can you hit the blue button for us so we can just?
Yeah, I'm always.
No, that's all right.
I mean, Dawson Knox kind of a fun run back. I think Dawson Knox is like it's thrust up because of the last 2 weeks. Like he's found the end zone and he's kind of been playing well again. But like just seeing his spike in like the targets and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, oh shit, is this the Dawson Knox we were drafting in the offseason?
It feels so safe. It feels so safe.
It does.
Goddard got taken. Okay. Yeah, I think I could go for Knox. I also like Fant.
Yeah, I think Knox makes more sense on this team.
Yeah.
I mean, it does feel safe. It does feel tethered to ADP. It does feel like we didn't diversify enough, but it also just feels right in this
Yeah, and I
build.
guess and everybody is going to be on like we just Mecole Hardman just got drafted for fuck's sake, so everybody's on KC and Seattle. So I guess like fading Fant is in that draft is a way of saying like we're going to fade that game, and we're going to say that game doesn't necessarily get there. All right, we're going to go blind. I'll do a blind one, and then Numi can let us know how freaking off we are because he's got the projections.
All right, I think the people want us to flounder and drown in the deep end of the Tuesday tip off.
I do one just to see if any friends or family take first, and I never cash. I never cash, dude. I am not good at hoops. It's definitive. I'm only in there just to help donate to the rake.
I love it.
Just one little itty bitty contribution.
Okay, let's see here. There is Jazz back-to-back, Suns on a back-to-back. That's it. That's all I'm seeing. Warriors without Steph. I know that. Let's see here.
Well, let's help you out here. I just got home. So
Hey,
we can get you going where you need to be.
Hijacked.
Shout out Luka Doncic for legitimately ruining my night last night and getting ejected. Shout out Chris Paul for being up mother effing 20 points.
Yeah, and he was still in the
with
game.
8 minutes. So what happens? T-Box comes just shooting up the lineup because they're like, you know what? Let's keep Chris Paul in there. And then I just get to it. Anyway, had a great night. Let's go hoops. What up, fam? Let's do this.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was a fun night. Russell Westbrook being
Fultz was a good play.
Downgraded to out after having no tag. Like that was a killer. Good thing we managed to swap to Kelly Oubre. But here's what we're looking at: Suns on the back-to-back.
Oh, we're on the clock here.
God, this
bucket.
Wow, this actually gets so gross in a heartbeat. Wow, like
Buckets.
it was just like you're expecting to see like some names that you like to draft at 3, and it's just like, oh yeah, Jimmy Butler.
Very bad teams on today's slate with Utah, Detroit, Washington, and whatever Phoenix is going to roll out there. Yeah, that's the key. Is we're going to be getting. I don't think we get. Well, Kristaps Porzingis does not go through shoot-around illness. Michael Porter Jr., doubtful.
Yeah, he's been out.
So Kristaps is going to get the Q tag. That's going to be a midday Q.
Is Beal healthy? I don't know what's going on with him.
Beal's healthy. The only one on the I don't think there's anyone on the Wiz that are hurt on the injury report. I don't got a Wiz on the injury report.
Kuzma seems really nice.
Let me clarify that. Yeah, DeLon Wright and Rui, non-impact.
We're playing into our narrative here that the 2 nationally televised games tonight, Memphis and Denver, Warriors and Knicks. I don't see any Q tags for those players though. Do we like leaning into the Booker Q here, or do we go ahead and take Chris Paul and the safety?
No, Book. Okay. If anyone, take Book because he didn't play, and it's a back-to-back. Yeah. So if they're going to play anyone more likely, I've been going Book.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. I think that's where the Q tags can lead your brain astray, right?
It's my LeBron from yesterday. You're gonna get something, and I don't think Ayton plays. Just my thought.
Anybody on health and safety protocols that's going to fuck us today?
We'll check the out statuses here.
Oh man, I swear Jalen Brunson plays well every time I don't play
unless Steph Curry randomly appears healthy. We're good there. That's like the biggest name.
I'm surprised SGA didn't end up as the winner last night, considering he put up a 50 burger.
He did. He was in Chad's lineup. So he would have he would have got a little bit more of a push. I was watching that. I was cheering for Chad hardcore. I was hoping he was going to get there. It was the 4th round SGA team.
Nice.
Did Kuz go? Yeah. Beal seems good. But
Yeah.
since I said that, I mean,
Yeah.
like
We'll go
Beal.
Beal. No. Go Beal. Just because in terms of my rankings that I have here, he's not that far. And it's like, you're just going to
Who
take
you have
guys
right now that's highest?
that's available would be, I think, Ayton and Levine. But like, or did Ayton go? No, Ayton's there. Yeah, but I'm literally, I've put Ayton down to, I have taken Ayton and Chris Paul out of my rankings when I've been drafting today, just because I don't care and I'll get the exposure after the report comes out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal for me.
So you're worried that both of them will get the sit on the back-to-back, and then Booker will be the guy that plays by himself tonight?
That's my thought. Or they all sit and they just play the crappy Wizards with no one. Oh, here's some news. Dante DiVincenzo out. Okay, he was doubtful. JaMychal Green, health and safety protocols out. Not that big of a deal. Klay Thompson listed available to play. Good to know.
Okay, so the Klay one.
So
yeah, the Klay one seems good.
But
Klay, I have such a hard time clicking Klay's name. Like,
no Steph, no Wig. Klay's been getting it. Trust me, he's getting back to Klay's form.
If you watch, I love watching Klay play.
He may be one of my favorite players. Like, if not my favorite, dude. He's so freaking fun to watch play, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and people think he's like a statue on the court. Like, no, man.
He was one of the most dynamic college players ever.
Like, yeah, he was a two-way defender. He literally would guard the best
insane
player. He would guard before he got hurt, he would guard the best player. Now it's Wiggins and Kuminga, and whenever they have that, their scrappy guy come out. But yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. So
do we like Klay here?
I think we take Klay. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you tell me there's no Steph. I'll have to go. I've been doing a bunch of errands. I don't have the numbers, the background, the court IQ stuff. But yeah, just my bro science take is no Steph, no Wiggy.
No Steph. Yeah. Get shots up.
Let me make sure there is no Wiggy still. Yeah, no Wiggy. Oh, yeah, no Andre Iguodala. Dante DiVincenzo out, JaMychal Green. Those are DiVincenzo is it makes
Draymond look kind of nice.
Well, no, it makes Poole, Klay, and Draymond look all nice because Ty Jerome enters the starting lineup, and that's someone that's going to defer to those rather than Dante DiVincenzo, who can get his own shot.
Wow, Jamal Murray, a name just sitting down here with the Q tag that seems too good to be available in the 5th.
Sorry, I'm looking here. I got this updated.
Beef stew, baby. Beef stew with a nice ADP.
Yeah, Beef stew is coming out at 40 in my rankings.
Beef stew.
40th. Hey, so he's just shy off the board. Okay.
And he fits the build of a player that has the
what do we think about putting Draymond in there?
I like that. I also like Brooks. I also like
Dylan Brooks' ass.
He may be ass, but he shoots the ball.
He shoots a lot.
He gets peripherals, and that's the thing. Yeah. That's why he is way more ass than people that people don't like him. Is because just don't shoot the ball, Brooks.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell Robinson has 60 points coming. Sorry.
Oh, how many? So that means at least that's a 10-stop game
blocks.
With some steals.
That's 7 blocks.
No,
yeah.
10 straight. Yeah, no, 10 blocks. 10 blocks and straight. He's going to come out there with steals galore.
20 points.
Oh, just goes.
Dude, he's one of my favorite players.
My buddy made a bet with me that he goes, dude, I will bet you like anything you want. I was like, I forget what I'll have to go check the text. I'll have to go check the text. He said anything I want, and we decided something. It was when Brooks and LaMelo were in the draft. He goes, Dylan Brooks will be light years better than LaMelo Ball. I was like,
wow.
Ooh.
Rough scene.
He goes, trust me. Hold on.
That's how I kind of felt about Alec Burks. I don't know. I liked him. I don't know why. Some guy told me a story one time.
Well, hold
Seriously.
on. Now we need to check out that draft and make sure that I'm right. Lonzo. He said it was Lonzo, not LaMelo. It was like, no, LaMelo was drafted recently, which I think Lonzo's better than Dylan Brooks. He may be hurt.
Yeah.
Look at Jason.
He hasn't played in a while.
Third overall. Sixers could have had Tatum. How do you feel about that, Chip?
Come on, man.
Yeah,
He's having a nice
Numi,
Tuesday.
Aaron Fox,
you came
Mitchell,
in too hot.
Bam.
You came in too hot, man. You came in too hot.
Never. Is he still recovering from Hurts?
Hey, Hurts is fine. Hurts is fine. Don't listen to the fake sources, man.
You're just listening to Nick Sirianni saying that apparently his body heals better than normal humans.
Nick Sirianni literally said he's built different. That's basically what he said. He's like, yeah, Hurts is built different. I refuse to.
Yo, we're on the clock, guys.
What are we gonna do about it?
I don't know. We're gonna take the highest ADP guy because we were falling asleep. What do we think about Bones with the potential of Jamal missing? That was a name that my eyes just went to. I was like, yo,
he'll shoot up
a little leverage.
Yeah,
there.
he'll shoot up boards for sure. Yeah. Figured I'd hop in, get a nice
name.
Draft with you. Without here we go. That's appreciate you, Chad. Without Wiggins, without Wiggins, DiVincenzo, and Curry, Golden State used those Poole 33, Kuminga 20, Dre. So Clay doesn't have any usage. Small sample. Okay, small sample. Gotcha. All right, yeah, I can do one more here, and then I just had to. I wanted to hop
this is my last one.
I saw you guys were doing some drafts, but I gotta just continue to. I gotta clean this house.
No degen of me. Don't say anything. Don't ask anything. Just click another draft.
That's literally how it goes.
Drag me into one more. It's fine.
Twist your rubber arm, bud?
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was like, so you said small sample, and I'm assuming Clay wasn't even playing during that. And is it this? Are you talking this season, or you talk? Well, last season wouldn't matter either. So I'll just pick that up.
Influencer 101. We get the joke, baby. Whoa, tough room.
Joka, T-Box.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm taking notes on T-Box.
LED.
I'm just gonna dupe him.
Yeah. That's a sound strategy.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hoops is just. I'm doing good in my season long. My season long hoops team is pretty dirt McGirt, but DFS is just not it.
No, it's tough, man.
My best ball hoop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No one cares.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17 out of 30 are advancing right now. On my small ball. Let's go.
Jesus Christ. I have one team and it's terrible.
I think I'm exposed to like all the DeAnthony Melton, so that's helped.
Dude, 88 points last game.
He's nuts. Joker.
Yo? Oh yeah. Did you see
what?
Did you see like his stat line?
No.
It
was like 40 and 27. I saw that.
He's the only person like to be basically have a stat line, and then basically the only other person to do this since Wilt. It's always Jokic and Wilt.
27 boards?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
I was gonna say like 29 or 30, but I didn't want to. Yeah. So is
he just like
a triple double with 40 and 27.
I think the key is, also who played Charlotte last night?
No. Kelly Oubre, baby. That's all I know.
Sabonis. What did he put up?
Oh, yeah.
You want a cheat code? Play the center playing the Hornets. It has been the number one thing in any DFS. Just play who is ever. Hornets are the worst team
number
in the
one
NBA.
thing. This is the first time I'm hearing you say it, and this is the number one thing.
We've said that over and over. I've been saying that. Just play a center against Charlotte.
The T-Box nugget smashed. Yeah, Chad said that in the comments earlier. That was the T-Box nugget last stream was Sabonis at 5, and he fucking demolished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-Box was also drafting him over a lot of players that he was ranked up there too for me too, so it made sense.
Yeah, I mean when you get a projectable big guy, that's just like
Brunson's popping. Like Jalen Brunson is popping. Yeah,
he's left-handed. He's small. He wears the sleeve on the wrong arm. He buried me a couple times. I'm over this guy. Let's play him.
Kuzma.
Yeah, you like Kuzma over Beal tonight? What are your thoughts on
I
playing
do.
the two of them together? They feel
I
like
think
they
it's fine.
cannibalize each other a little bit, no?
Kristaps being now a Q is making that fine for me even more.
Good
Sorry,
point.
he's not a
Good
Q,
point.
not a Q. He didn't go through shoot around, so we got to read the tea leaves in NBA.
There we go.
Yeah.
Blake's on it. Kuzma
Yes, sir.
without that. Yeah, 5 smashing against the Hornets. Ashton's about it.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. And then how about Joval going off last night? Well, he's not going to be on the slate. Did you guys see what Joval did last night?
Nope. What do you do?
Just like you know who like what Joval does. Just give me what you think he did.
Like 20 and 20.
He put up 37, 18, and 5.
5.
Joval?
67 points for Joval.
What the hell?
See, like,
Against the
Was he on the
Bucks.
court with Zion?
Yeah, they needed him. I was thinking
he's
it
a
was
better
small
5
thing.
than Zion.
It went in my mind and out. It was like, okay, they're playing the Bucks. Brooke Lopez, dude, my cat is just being stop it.
The Cats know you're leaving, dude. They know you're leaving. I don't know what you're doing while you're gone, but they know you're leaving and they're gonna be pissed at you. Sorry.
Oh, we got cameras in the house.
Can't trust.
We got cameras in the
Cannot
house to make
trust
sure
them.
they're all good. Because last time they went into our he opens our sliding cabinet. That's like our we're living in a townhouse, so our heater's like in a little cabinet, like kind of tucked away. They opened that. He jumped on it and they turned off our heat.
Oh my God.
That's scary.
So when my girlfriend's parents came to check up on him, because we were in Cancun for like 2 weeks, they checked on him midway, and all of a sudden, they're like, it's freezing in here, and everything's open, and they're just like, they just want to be Boyan. I like Boyan.
Bojan.
Okay.
I mean, it just a nice little revenge against his former team.
He likes to score.
We see how that mattered for Donovan Mitchell last night.
Yeah, and then now
we
should we
want
take
your boy Mitch? Well, we
should
have
we take
another
him?
Nick, so I think we do Bridges.
Okay.
Because Bridges could be without like I'm foreseeing these, and then that's someone that's going to move up and be taken around the 3-4 turn.
What if Mikal Bridges is the guy you need tonight? What if I ruined that team last night with him, but he's going to redeem me tonight. That's my guy.
Believe. You got to believe.
Man, yeah, this guy
Paul, just getting here, and you're still going to have you guys are legends. So we're just degenerates, Paul.
Paul,
I just keep
welcome to
clicking
the show, man. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you sub.
Yeah, if you're just getting here, you're only going to see me for like 10. You're not going to see me for the first hour and a half of the stream. So you're going to be really mind fucked.
You're getting here right for the best time of the show, man. That'd be fun if we deked him and we came.
Nez is already gone when you got him going like this on his phone. It's like he's just fully.
Man,
like,
hoops is just like.
And this.
It's better
Ready?
for your guys' money if I don't give my opinions on hoops.
Nez and hoops. Nez and MLB.
So I really like this guy. Oh no.
Have you seen his WRC plus?
Man, I miss baseball. Give me the fucking slate where I was one of like 5 people to draft Jazz Chisholm. Like, give me that again. Like, that's my edge. Come on. I'm so excited for fucking baseball. Oh my God, I can't wait. ADP
We
is
need MLB contests. They're like it's gonna go
they
a month.
it's after the fucking playoffs. They gotta wait for these playoff
Why?
contests.
We
to
can fill it. We will fill it ourselves. Make it a small.
No, the point
wild
is
card.
they don't want you to fill it. They want you to fill the other shit and then fill it.
Yeah. They're like,
They know you'll fill it. That's
I'll
the
do
problem.
both. Fuck it. I'll do both.
I won't.
Make it
They know I won't.
Make it a
They
way
know I
too
won't.
early.
won't.
$3 MLB best ball. $3.
All right, who do you
Small
want
turning.
here?
Eat us the itch.
What's up with Oladipo? Is he trash?
Is Mike Conley there, or do you get taken?
No, he's still there.
Mike Conley's there. We'll take Mike Conley.
He's popping, and
This is
Sexton's
a
out.
bunch of this is a bunch of who's of who used to be goods right down there.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
right,
Oladipo. I drafted
was
Kemba
fun.
Walker last night in one of my
Hey,
drafts. Like, I was like, hey,
that-
here we go.
That slate that Kemba or that Luka was out, I stopped. I literally was auto drafting. I had 15 in a row. Kemba last round. I went, all right, I'm gonna get buried by this, so I need to get off it. Those were like my very few Kemba shares. I got some others, and then all of a sudden, Kemba puts up a 47 Berger. I'm like, makes sense. Anyway.
Always
Did-
Jazzism.
did we draft
Freddy's.
3
We
Knicks?
know the formula. I have no idea.
Jizz,
Man. I
that's
couldn't even
amazing.
tell you one player that was on our team that we just drafted. Conley on a back-to-back too. Oh my
No,
goodness.
he's not.
No. Memphis isn't back-to-back.
Utah played last night. Did they not?
Dude, he's on Utah.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, you're right.
I thought he was
Yeah,
on Memphis.
he's on
still.
Utah. No, you're right.
I'm the
you're
guy.
right.
I'm the hoops guy now. Look at me.
I still think. Even if Conley doesn't play, well, you get a bunch of swaps there. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
a good
right,
one.
GA. We don't care about your teams. Damn straight. I don't even care about my teams. All right, boys. Newbie, thanks for hopping on, doing a little hoops with us. That was a fun one. Good luck to everybody doing the hoop stuff tonight. Do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, drop a comment. It helps us out with the algorithms, all that fun stuff. Numi's going to be driving to Utah. There will not be a show tomorrow. There will no show tomorrow. We'll be back on Thursday, hopefully with Chris. I actually haven't even spoke to him about it. It's just kind of up in the air, but hopefully Thursday we'll be back.
Yeah, it's time for the playoff contest.
Yeah, it's time to mix a little bit of that in. And I saw that Leone and Herzig did one yesterday. They're not doing it on Thursday, so we won't overlap with that. So it'll be all good. And go check that out first and foremost. And then we'll drop something. I'm looking all over the place for this button. I've hit this button for how many shows have we done? Maybe like 40, 50 shows. I've hit this button so many times and I still can't find it. This outro button. I'm just scrolling up and down like
It's kind of it's hidden in there. I've tried to find it once whenever it was my turn, and it was hard.
Yeah. All right, everybody, join the Discord. Link in the bio below. If you're not playing on Underdog, what are you doing with your life? $100 match deposit bonus with promo code BADGE. On behalf of the bros, everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.